From New York City, this is Entertainment Weekly, the show. This week I talk Nordic gods with Ian McShane, King Arthur with Jaimin Hansu, and I get my handsome on with Jeff Garlin. Plus, the latest Entertainment Weekly cover is all about summer TV. Hot weather means hot new episodes, including Game of Thrones Season 7, yes! You won't be able to hold the door on this episode, people, because the show starts now! To say that Game of Thrones is the most anticipated show of the summer would be the understatement of the year. EWS scored an exclusive with the Stark clan, and spoiler alert, they all reunite this season. Here's a scoop from the stars themselves. Check it out.
All the Starks ended up together again. Yes, there'd be Monopoly and Scrabble. I don't know, I think it would all kind of be a bit strange, and after everything that they've gone through, I think it might be quite a quiet dinner together or something that's pretty awkward. I don't think it'd be all fun and games after everything everyone's gone through.
If they're all just one big happy family, I think like almost totally equivalent of like a bowling alley or something, I don't know, some party. I think big old party, big old feast.
I know you could just sit down, all the Starks could, have a meal that didn't end in one of them getting murdered. I think that would be nice.
Welcome back. It's time to talk summer TV. I'm here with Entertainment Weekly editor Bill Keith, Jessica Shaw, the host of EW Morning Live on Sirius, and Penn's own Binge-Worthy, and EW writer Tim Stack. Welcome, guys. My dream team. I love you guys. Okay, let's talk summer TV. Tim, Game of Thrones.
Yes.
EW got the scoop.
Yes, we were, our James Hibbert, who's like the Game of Thrones, like wizard himself. He's the little wizard. He was on the set. He's like a little wizard.
I'm surprised they haven't named a character after him.
I know.
Spin-off.
Hiberto or something. I don't know. It was Jameson. But yes, he was on the set and he wrote our cover story this week, which is great if you're a Game of Thrones fan. But
which
he got
I am.
Which, yes.
G-O-T.
G-O-T.
All the way, baby.
Got all the way. But basically the season is shorter. It's only 7 episodes compared to 10.
Now, I don't understand.
Yes.
Why would they do that to me? I need my 10 episodes.
I know. I do too. I agree.
But I also needed them in spring, and it's summer. It's all
that's also correct.
Disorienting.
That's also correct. I think because they're splitting up the final kind of batch of episodes, they decided to do this sort of shortened kind of twosome, if you will.
Okay.
And it's supposed to be the most fast-paced season yet.
Yes.
So there were so many people who are going to be coming together in this new season that have never been together before. So you don't have to spend so much time working on all these different people. It's sort of like all these people you thought could never be in the same room without killing each other are actually there.
And killing each other.
And also killing each other.
But we're kind of already there now.
Yeah.
I keep hearing the word carnage. Carnage. Is this going to be a bloodbath?
That's
Bloodier
James
than the
Hibbert's
Red Wedding?
nickname.
Yeah. Yes, I think it is. I mean, obviously it's building to that because someone has to take the throne and it's not going to be done willingly, I'm assuming, not with Cersei on the throne right now. Yeah. And so I think, yes, that's a major part. And that actually is the prediction of all the actors for the final season. They just think it's going to be carnage. But I will say that even though it's 7 episodes, James Hibbert was telling me that they still spent the same amount of money on these, that they would 10. So you're still getting the same bang for your buck.
And you have the biggest dragon ever.
And the biggest dragon ever.
It's enormous.
The giant dragon.
Amazing. It's like the size of a plane.
Size of a 747.
Yes.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
It's a big, big dragon. I was gonna make a joke and then I was gonna make
That's
a joke.
no Puffin magic
I was
dragon.
gonna make a joke about a dragon's anatomy, but I was like, nope. There's a lot of nudity on Game of Thrones.
Dragon nudity even.
Yeah, get it. I don't know.
He's hung like a dragon. I did it for you. There you go. All right,
It took us
moving
a while.
right along.
I know.
Talking about dirty words, dirty girls. Broad City's back for a 4th season. Jessica
Yes,
Shaw. Okay,
I love
know
Broad
you do.
City.
Yes.
No, Abby and Alana. They
Yes.
said, I'm going to read this quote. They said they're coming in hard and raw this season.
Like a dragon.
Like a
Yes, this season. So when we last left off with Abby and Alana, they were on that plane. They're like searching the plane floor for some, lady things
Yes.
that you need.
You're making Tim uncomfortable.
I know. I'm like,
Tampons. They're called tampons, okay? They for the first time shot the show in the winter.
Right.
So it's going to be, they're saying, like a little bit darker, a little bit, there are going to be some more serious things. I have to say, I think that we're so invested in Abby and Alana and their friendship especially, which is one of my favorite depictions of women friends on television. I love the two of them so much. So I think that they've earned that. Even doing a comedy show, they've earned that by being amazing for the previous seasons, to be able to have serious episodes and heart. And I can't wait. RuPaul is guest starring this season.
Yeah.
Fran Drescher. What? Like, of
are you
course.
sure it's not Rue as Fran?
That would be amazing.
You see what I did there?
I saw it and I loved it.
I know. I'm really on fire today, Lola.
Are on fire.
Like a dragon. Like a dragon lit me
You
up.
took the words right out of my mouth.
Like a big hung dragon lit me up. Anyways.
What can you possibly ask me after that?
Exactly.
I'm actually feeling a bit insecure about this next question. It's about Issa Rae's Insecure.
So
Bill?
good.
Are you like,
So
okay.
good.
Okay, so tell me, what was it about season 1 that earned it a sophomore season?
I think that they were just like, it was so specific, and that's sort of about what Yvonne has said about it too, is like these characters are so specific that they feel so real.
And that's Yvonne Orji.
Yvonne Orji, yes.
Shout out to my Nigerian sister.
That's right. She said she tries to represent for all of Nigeria, which I believe is like roughly, I can't remember how many million people she said.
144 million.
144 million.
We actually split it in half. I took half. She took half.
sure.
Yeah.
That seems like a fair split.
Yeah.
You can cover that many.
Sure.
No, but she was just saying these characters are so specific that they feel real. And, you know, Issa Rae just developed these characters from very real places, and a lot of Yvonne is in Molly, and a lot of Jay Ellis is a part of Lawrence, and these three main characters are just so phenomenal, and the way they interact, and they're all so amazing to look at. They're all
I love that
beautiful.
show so much.
Jay Ellis
is so
is my
good.
hall pass.
Oh, he is.
Oh my
Yes.
God.
He's-
Well done. Well done.
That's a good one. That is a good one.
This is the best show. I mean, I love this show
love
so
the
much.
show.
Although I'm a little worried because I feel like Issa Rae is going to be really busy writing the Rihanna movie.
Yes.
The Rihanna
Yes, the Rihanna Twitter,
Nyong'o movie. Yes.
Twitter movie. Yeah.
It's going to be great. That
know.
heist film is going to
Oh
be
my
awesome.
God.
And Ava DuVernay's directing.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, I digress. We're talking about TV, not movies. You guys stay focused.
I know.
I was
sorry.
so excited about Insecure that I was just flying the other day, and I just rewatched the last episode on a plane, forgetting, of course, that Jay has a quite intense sex scene that I swear to God got paused due to a pilot's announcement for 30 seconds, and it's just Jay going for it. I believe we said at the top of the show.
Let's say,
So anyway, I'm very excited
It's
for
like
it to come
Little
back.
dragon mode.
Hounding
Yes.
away like
Yep.
okay.
Yes.
All right. Jessica Biel's back.
Yes.
She left Justin Timberlake at home finally.
Yep, she's gotten a sitter.
She's in the
And
center.
she is
Will it
now-
be a sin if we don't watch this show?
It's really good. It's very dark. It's sort of, as you can see from the images, it's about a single, or not a single mom. It's about a kind of an everyday mom. She has a child, a son, and a husband, and they go to the beach one day, and it seems like everything's fine, and all of a sudden she just snaps while they're at the beach, and she grabs the knife that she's peeling a piece of fruit with, and just starts going like ham on this guy, and just stabbing him in broad daylight, kills him, and then is arrested. And then that's sort of when the mystery starts, is because the audience and the police need to find out why this woman did this. And so it kind of harkens back to her childhood. She had a really messed up childhood. And it's this sort of like reverse mystery. It's really cool. It's very dark though. And Jessica Biel's actually, you know, she's not the immediate choice when you think about someone like this role, but she's really good. She has some lovely sad bangs that really help her blend in. But she's she's very good in it, and it's very compelling. And you sort of you have no idea where it's going because there's like a lot of backstory. It's very kind of. It's dark is the word that I keep using that, but it's very compelling.
I like her. I always feel like I'm waiting for her to get a role that I love her in.
This is
you know
the
what
best
I mean?
role she's had, I mean, maybe ever. I mean, she said, I think it's the best. And it's just, she was saying it's kind of, I think, going to be a little bit like Gone Girl. Like, her character Cora's an unreliable narrator, and so she claims things that maybe aren't true, and, you know, she remembers things that maybe aren't true. So it's going to be a really interesting, complex woman.
Let's talk about Glow.
Yes.
Women wrestlers don't we have Total Divas? What can we expect from
Yes,
the show?
the
We've got
gorgeous
some
ladies of
names:
wrestling.
Allison Brie, Betty Gilpin, Mark Maron. Is this the women's wrestling comedy that we've been waiting for?
I cannot wait for this show. And it's from Genji Cohan, who, of course, does Orange is the New Black. Allison Brie plays this, like, kind of, out of work actress, and the gorgeous ladies of wrestling, and they're, which was essentially just, it started in, what was it, like the late 70s, early 80s. And she just gets into it because she needs work.
Yeah.
And Mark Maron plays the guy who essentially, like, established this world. And I absolutely cannot wait. This, for me, is the show of summer. This is the one that I'm the most looking forward to.
Yeah.
Really?
I think Mark Maron, too, is going to get awards consideration.
Definitely.
Like, he is so good on this that I can see him getting, like, a Best Supporting Actor in a comedy series.
Right.
nomination. He's great.
Mark Maron coming off the top rope.
I know, that's
like
right.
That. Okay, so Jason Bateman making a bit of a transition also into drama with Ozark, right? It's about a money launderer for a drug cartel. You had me at cartel. Bill, cartel me more.
Yes, well, I mean, it's sort of like this very unexpected thing where you see at the beginning Jason Bateman.
We're just going to let Lola do that?
Yeah.
I was just going to keep going. I was going to cartel her some more.
We're just going to carry on like that was normal?
Yes, I'm
Great,
sorry.
carry on.
Sorry. I was trying to come up with like an equally good pun, and I just couldn't. So, no, it's amazing. Jason Bateman, he's an EP on this. He directed 4 of the episodes, and he basically plays a money launderer who seems to be like the nicest suburban dad, and he has a great life with his wife Laura Linney. When in fact, of course, like everything on TV, it's not as it seems, and of course, it's insanely dark. And he has to go into hiding in the Ozarks. And try to launder money through like local sort of casinos and everyone associated with the show is trying to avoid comparisons to Breaking Bad, which I get, but it's not unlike that where someone really is pushed to the limits and they have to do whatever it takes to save their family. But it's Jason Bateman, so.
And how do you think he'll do in a drama? I mean, he did well in The Gift, but
And
he was really great in that.
I think he's a really smart and talented dude. He's directed dramas.
Let's not forget Hogan's Family.
Yeah.
There were very special
gosh.
episodes of Hogan's Family.
Yes, indeed.
Every time I hear Ozarks, I think of Smoky Mountain Christmas with
It's very unlike that.
Dolly Parton. Oh, okay.
My favorite thing so far is how well tailored his shirts are for being in the woods of the Ozarks.
Oh, interesting.
He looks really good.
Interesting.
Dan
Okay.
Sneerson and I both saw it together, and that was like the first
was your
thing we
both
both
takeaway.
talked
Your
about. His
sartorial
fine
takeaway.
tailoring. So if nothing else.
Just
Yeah,
two
nice
dudes
shot.
going to see a show together and then walking out and being like, that's some great tailoring.
Great.
Yeah.
Just like
I
guy,
don't know if that
guy
bodes well
talk.
for the show, if that was your takeaway, though.
Oh, shoot.
Tailoring in that.
Netflix has
woods.
so much this summer. Like,
do.
don't you get the sense that, like,
Okay, so-
I mean, you kind of, you hope for a Stranger Things type hit. You
Yeah.
hope for something that you didn't anticipate it being a sensation, and it just becomes like, from the ground up. People start tweeting about it. People start watching it, word of mouth. And I don't know. I wonder if that's going to be that kind of show.
So what else are you guys excited about seeing this summer that we haven't spoken about? I mean, you mentioned Glow, so I know that's one of your
Yes.
favorites. Tim, what you got on deck? Bill, what you got on deck?
I'm really excited about Gypsy, which is Netflix. It's this sort of psychological thriller with Naomi Watts. It sort of reminds me of like a 90s Adrian Lyne movie, like sort of like Fatal Attraction or Unfaithful. It has that sort of that look and sort of same energy, but it's about this psychiatrist who kind of gets more involved in her patients' lives than she should. Like she really crosses the personal boundaries. But she's great in it, Naomi Watts, and it's just sort of, it's like, I don't know, it just reminds me of those movies, and I love like upscale thrillers.
Me too.
Wealthy thrillers.
Definitely.
I love rich people,
Yes.
and I love when rich people kill people.
Rich people in peril.
Rich
is a
people in
great
peril,
genre,
exactly.
yes.
Rich people in
Why
peril
is that
is
a
my-
category on Netflix?
It should be.
Yeah.
It should be.
Should be. That's
That
all
is my favorite genre.
Seriously, like
Yes.
Sliver and like even like a Perfect Murder.
Oh, Perfect
I was
Murder.
gonna-
It's
oh my
like,
gosh.
oh,
I want
such
nice
good hair in that
apartments.
one, yes.
True.
Yeah, I want nice
It's
apartments.
like Big Little Lies.
You
Exactly.
get some real estate porn.
Exactly. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes, and she wears
Beautiful people.
she wears lots of good coats. It's wonderful. Anyways, but
Well, that was a lot of cross-talking. You guys have been fantastic. Bill, please tell me what you are excited about seeing this summer.
I'm dying up here. Showtime. Melissa Leo stars
I thought
as.
you were saying how you were feeling.
Oh no, guys, I gotta go. First, it was a cartel pun. So, I'm Dying Up Here is the name of the Showtime series starring Melissa Leo, and it's sort of like a fictionalized account of the Comedy Store in 1970s LA on the Sunset Strip, and she's phenomenal. She's always great in everything, like The Wrestler, but she
variety
Her variety act for your consideration. That's my favorite performance. She's in a pool. She's
You gotta go for what you want.
I know. She's.
And isn't Jim Carrey a producer on
Jim
that?
Carrey's
Is
a
he gonna show
producer.
up?
Yeah, I don't know if he's actually going to show up in the series, but he was on set a lot to just sort of make sure that it all felt and looked authentic, and the sets are incredible. The costumes are awesome. The
Looks
music.
great.
It's like you
Yeah.
just definitely want to just hang out in that world.
Yeah.
And they promoted the hell out of that in front of Twin Peaks.
Yeah. They did. I think people are going to be so into it.
All right.
Yeah.
You guys have been fantastic. You kicked off my summer perfectly. Thank
Good.
so
You can
much
stay
for being
indoors
here.
for the rest of the season.
Oh yeah.
Not going outside.
No reason to go
absolutely
outside.
not. Ugh,
Nope.
Nature. Blech.
I know. Oh, humidity.
Wrong.
Frizz. Who wants
Sun.
frizz?
You guys keep talking. We'll be right back with more. They don't want to go anywhere. Hey, that was awesome, you guys. I recently sat down with actor Ian McShane and we covered everything from his hit show American Gods to how he accidentally revealed a Game of Thrones spoiler. Check it out. So you've played kings in the past, but how do you prepare to play a god?
You play more normal than anybody else.
Really?
Well, if you do, yeah. Well, in real life, I don't know how you prepare to be a god. You're either, yeah, it was a natural progression from. Because I worked with Michael Green, who's one of the showrunners, when we did Kings, and I played a guy who'd been a great warrior who became a king. And what if America was a kingdom? So it's a natural progression to play a god. But when you're playing it, I mean, if you play it, you know, and or a lot of armor, it wouldn't go down too well with a booming voice. You know, you'd get your first sentence out and the show would be over. You know, speak very slowly as a god and listen to me. No, you play it more normal than anybody else.
Walk me through what your initial reaction was when you read the script, because watching it, I mean, it is a wild ride.
It's out there, isn't it?
Yes. I've watched the first 3 episodes. I didn't know what was going
Did
on
you enjoy
at
it?
all. I did.
Great.
But I was wildly confused.
I like this story because it doesn't spend the first 3 episodes explaining to the viewer, treating them as stupid, like, oh, this is because of this. You'll catch up. You'll have to catch up as you go along. And it starts out there. It starts on this character, Shadow Moon, who's this, not proactive. I mean, the audience sees everything through his eyes. You know, Gaiman wrote this book 16 years ago. Yeah. Hugely successful novel. We went to Comic-Con last year. And it was like the reception he gave, because he's a much revered figure. Also because Neil likes interacting with fans. He likes talking about his books, which is great. He's not like a shy, reclusive author who's like, oh no, my book is so precious. No, he likes to talk about it.
What do you think showrunner Brian Fuller does with this work that sets it apart?
I think Neil Gaiman couldn't have handed off his much loved and much prized and impossible to screen book for 12 years to a more gifted pair of showrunners than Brian and Michael. Because we're not making a polemic. I mean, I make it sound like this show is about, it's about all those serious, it is about those serious things in life, like identification, faith, love, friendship, warmth, the future, the past, family. But it's not a polemic about saying this is what it is. It's a TV show which deals in the past, the present, the future, and just happens to have as its core, it's an immigrant story coming to America. We all came from somewhere. But this show, I think, is sort of hits the zeitgeist in a good way, because it's funny and it's out there, and it says, and you're introduced to all these mad characters who are immigrants who've been in America for hundreds of years but living ordinary lives. And then you've got, you know, the Bilquis, the goddess Bilquis, which will shock some people, but
Yeah, she's pretty shocking.
she
swallows up people with her vagina.
I always said, well, the funny, I always said to it, they talk about, how did you audition for that? And I always said, were there the same amount of people in the room at the end of the audition as there were at the beginning when Bilquis did it? I mean, she's great. Your TD's got, it's a very tough thing to do.
It is.
And also then you've got, but you never, and then in 3 though, you've got the Muslim homosexual love scene, which people will be shocked by, but actually I thought that was one of the sweetest, most tenderest, extraordinary things, because the actor they picked was great. Both actors. I mean, it's
You're pushing
real
envelopes. You're pushing
We're
envelopes.
pushing envelopes, trying to,
Yeah. You like that though.
Always have,
Yeah. Let's talk about Deadwood. Is there going to be a film?
They have the script. You'd like to deny it, HBO, but you know you have the script.
So they do
They
have
do,
the
of
script.
course they do. They're just being, corporates go, oh, you really? They have a script, yeah. Whether they do it or not is up to them. I mean, they've got, David's still there, and we've talked about, and I haven't read the script. I mean, David and I don't know. I mean, I had lunch with David, and from about a month ago, I think they've had the script. They got plenty of time to do it, and we'd all love to do it again. It's not like it is unfinished business in one sense. But those 3 years were the most extraordinary 3 years. I mean, they can compare to this. That was a show that push the envelope in a way. And who knew that? But again, that show was not really just a Western. It was about beginnings of America.
Yeah. Also nice to be a part of Game of Thrones.
I mean, I did the show. I mean,
Yeah.
when the famous quotes, which I hope you've all got over by now, or whatever. When somebody asked me about it, you know.
Well, tell me.
Oh, I'm not going to repeat it. No,
Why?
bring it up again. It was a remark I made about when they said, "Oh, you've given it away. You've given the story away." And I said, "Excuse me. I'm in one episode. What do you think? I walk away unscathed? Excuse me? What do you expect from me? You think I die? I'll probably die a gory death. But I bring another character into the show, and that was it about. The reintroduction of Hound, if you like.
I know.
Well, my grandkids have never forgiven me if I hadn't done it, because they're big fans of the show. You know? And it was fun. I hadn't been back to Northern Ireland for about 20 years. Last time I was there, they had the barriers up. It was still a divided city. So that show has not only been a worldwide hit, it's brought money back to Northern Ireland, Belfast. It's been a huge influence on the town, which is great, you know.
Mr. Wednesday, favorite day of the week?
It is. We started filming on a Wednesday.
Uh-huh.
We started filming on a Wednesday. I finished on a Wednesday, and we saw it in Texas on a Wednesday, and we started the PR stuff on a Wednesday. So this is Thursday. But pretend it's a Wednesday.
We'll touch it. It is a Wednesday.
It's a Wednesday.
Well, thank you for being here on this wonderful Wednesday. You're fantastic. Thank you.
My pleasure meeting you. Thank you,
you.
Don, very much indeed.
Thanks again to Ian McShane. American Gods airs Sundays at 9 on Stars. And now we're going to hear from actress Margaret Colin, who has a treasure trove of amazing stories that she declined to share with us. Take a look.
Hi, I'm Margaret Colin. I've been an actor for years and have some pretty amazing stories. But I'm saving those for my memoir. So I'm going to tell you some less amazing stories that I don't mind parting with in a segment called Colin Was There.
Colin was there.
During my first day on Pretty in Pink, James Spader gave me a pointer I will never forget. He said, "Keep a voided check on you at all times. That way, it's easy to set up direct deposit."
That's her story, and she's sticking to it.
For years, people believed that there was a ghost on the set of 3 Men and a Baby. I made a lot of money off of the rentals of it when people looked for that ghost on the set in the background. Spoiler alert, it's not a ghost, it's a cutout of Ted Danson in a tuxedo. Oh, rent the movie again. See for yourself. Go ahead.
Margaret knows what she wants and how to get it.
Once on the set of Independence Day, Jeff Goldblum spotted me in line at the Fox commissary. He came over and said, "When you hit the cafeteria right at 1, you're in the middle of the lunch rush. Come a little earlier, say 11:45. You'll have the place to yourself."
Margaret was calling the shots.
These days, Blake Lively is known for her active social media presence. But back when we were making Gossip Girl, I forget if she was doing stuff like that. I can't remember.
The name's Colin, not semicolon.
Not only is Richard Gere a brilliant actor, but he's also the guy who turned me on to chutney. Feeling a little salsa out? Try chutney. It's a little sweeter. It's really nice.
She hit a colon 1.
The cast of Veep is known for hurling witty insults at each other in every episode, but behind the scenes, their insults are less clever. Like moron, butthead, that kind of stuff.
Like a colon stone.
I'll never forget what Jennifer Lopez said to me on the first day of shooting Shades of Blue. She said, "Margaret, I'm Jen. Nice to meet you." We have some wild times making that show. You can catch the new episodes Sundays, 10 on NBC.
Welcome back. It's time to get a little serious. Actor Jeff Stoltz swung by the studio recently to talk about a very devastating issue. Take a look.
Hi, I'm Jeff Stoltz. I'm here to discuss a very important issue. The name Jeff versus the name Jeff. You see, my name's Jeff, and I'm tired of people assuming I spell it Jeff. And I'm not the only one. Across the country, over 500,000 dudes have to deal with this heartbreaking problem. Or something like that. I didn't really do any research. Every day, I get emails that say, "How are you, Jeff?" And I write back, "I don't know, because that's not my name. I'll ask Jeff how he's doing when I see him, Mom." God. I mean, do you know what it's like to have to look your son in the eye and say, "I don't know why Grandpa insisted on spelling my name this way"? Neither do I, because I don't have kids. You know, people don't realize J-Jeffs use their dominance to bully G-Jeffs. You know, I once saw Jeff Tweedy give Jeffrey Rush a wedgie at a Korean restaurant in Malibu. And you know what the saddest part is? I wanted to stand up for Rush, but I didn't because I was too scared. Yeah, instead, I asked Tweety to sign my copy of Wilco Schmilko, and he said no. So, next time you meet a guy named Jeff, take the extra minute to double check how he spells it. Because the names might sound the same, but they don't feel the same. My name's not Jeff. It's Jeff. See Unforgettable in theaters everywhere now. And join the fight to have Jeffs around the world make their voices heard.
Thanks to Jeff Stoltz for being so brave. All right, moving right along. Since we're always fair and balanced on this show, it's only fair that we hear from a J Jeff. I recently sat down with Jeff Garlin, that's Jeff, to discuss his new Netflix movie, Handsome. And he was a handful. Check him out. Jeff Garlin, let's talk.
Let's talk.
You play a character named Gene Handsome.
Yes, that's why the name of the show is Handsome.
You wrote and directed this.
I wrote it with
and
Andrea
star in
Siegel. I directed, I star in it, and if you don't like it, I am the one to blame. There's no one else to blame.
You wear 3 hats, not just one.
Yes.
What was it like to juggle all those caps?
It's actually really enjoyable.
Really?
Yeah.
Like being the boss?
It's not a boss thing. It's just a freedom thing. It's fun.
Now, you've described the show as a Columbo-style mystery comedy. I'm guessing you were influenced by Columbo.
Here's the different tone on it, if you will.
Okay.
Opening scene, the actor Steven Weber, who's wonderful in this, gets out of a swimming pool and says, "Hi, I'm Steven Weber, and I play the murderer in this handsome mystery movie." So you know, from the opening moment, before the credits, Steven Weber plays the murderer. So it sets a different tone.
I like that. And how do you pitch this to Netflix? What was the pitch?
Hey, I want to do a mystery movie kind of like Columbo, but with me. There you go. And they said yes.
And Ted Sarandos was like, here's your check.
Ted Sarandos, boom.
Now, how much research went into playing Gene Handsome?
None.
Any ride-along with cops? Nothing
No,
like that?
I did stop that.
No?
Ride along with cops.
Did you buy a
That's for
magnifying
actors.
glass?
That's for actors. Actors have to do that kind of crap. I don't do that. I did have a friend of mine who passed away. Her name was Michelle Oswald, Patton Oswald's wife. She was an expert in this area. So I asked her questions about whether it was real or not. Like, would this happen? Would that happen? What if this happened? And she was very helpful that way. I dedicated the movie to her.
Oh, that's lovely. Yeah. Let's talk about Curb Your Enthusiasm.
So if I were to just look at you and go, pottery.
I would say,
you know what? Let's talk about pottery.
Let's
see what it's about. All right, go ahead. What?
9th season.
Yes.
When is it happening?
This fall. October, if I was guessing.
Okay, what can we expect?
It's what people dig about the show.
Okay.
It's just the storyline's kind of crazy. I can't tell the storyline.
Please.
No, I can't.
But we're married.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Pillow talk. Come on, give me some.
When we're in bed and we're laying on the pillows, I will tell you everything about it.
Okay.
And then I will make love to you like it's never been done before.
But
That's what'll happen. Right after, that's what we'll do. That's the agenda in bed tonight. I'm going to tell you about Curb, and then I'm going to it's going to be a nice time.
Larry David.
Yes.
Is he in full Larry David mode? How is
on the
like
show? Yeah.
Around?
Well, but working with him's a delight. He's a lovely man. He hates when I tell people that.
Really?
Don't spoil it. Why do you do that? But he's the greatest. I love him so much.
Now, you guys have these stare downs.
I don't have the stare downs with him.
Okay.
Actually, he does have stare downs with people.
Right.
We did one together. We did a stare down because we always laugh. We never do it. And it was the episode where he dies and goes to heaven. We had a stare down in the hospital, cut it from the show.
What?
It just didn't work.
Well, let's resurrect it.
But our relationship, it doesn't work, the stare down, because he knows I'm telling him the truth.
Mm-hmm.
I know he's telling me the truth. He's not trying to figure me out. Like, we know each other too well, both off camera, on camera, and it does not work.
Let's talk handsome men.
All right, let's talk handsome. First off, let's just start with Larry.
Yeah.
Okay? When he and I have dinner and he goes to the bathroom, I'm not making this up. Women, now this dude is, I think he's 70 or 69, 68. I'm talking about 22-year-olds come up, give me their phone numbers to give to him.
Really?
And he'll come back and go, oh, which one is she? Because he wants to, I've been there. Famous models is one famous model's like, can you introduce me to him? I'm like, yeah, I'll be happy to. Here's the best quality a man can have. Being funny.
Yes.
Number 2, confident. If you're confident and funny, women dig that.
So I'm going to show you some handsome pairs.
Okay.
2 pair of men
Yes.
that happen to be universally understood to be handsome.
Yes.
And you are going to tell me who is more handsome.
You got it.
Brad Pitt and George Clooney.
I think George Clooney's better looking than Brad Pitt. That's just me.
All right.
I think George Clooney's about as handsome. And he's an acquaintance of mine, because I use that word. People throw friend around.
Right.
I really do know George.
Okay.
And I've met Brad a few times. Let me just say something.
Yeah.
Quite handsome.
Quite handsome.
Yeah, crazy handsome. That's a tough one, but I'm always going to go George.
All right. This is another tough one.
Okay.
Idris Elba and Daniel Craig.
Idris Elba.
All right.
Big time. And Daniel Craig, crazy handsome, but that just showed you. This dude, come on, man.
Yeah.
He's ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
He's
you ever
pretty
watch Luther?
ridiculous too. Yes.
I love Luther.
Yeah.
He's amazing. Not that he's not. He's great too. He's James Bond.
Yeah.
He should be James Bond after he's James Bond.
Future James Bond.
I hope.
Present James
He'd
Bond.
be a great James Bond.
Yeah, he would be.
There you go.
All right. Larry David versus Ted Danson.
Ted Danson.
That was quick.
Well, Ted Danson is the most charming, handsome man ever. Actually, of all the people you showed, he's number 1.
He's number 1.
He's the best guy. Not that Larry's not the best guy, but in terms of, to me, what represents, like, who do I want to be like? I want to be like Ted Danson.
All right.
Ted Danson's who I want to be like. I am like Larry David, but I want to be like Ted Danson. Yes.
I got that.
Yeah. Aren't you glad I participated?
I
Don't
love
you like
it.
when men go, I don't know who's more handsome.
Yeah, I don't
Shut
look
up.
at guys that way.
Yeah, shut up.
Shut up.
Yeah.
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 I don't get that.
Yeah, I don't get it
Like,
either.
you can just say objectively, that's a handsome guy.
Yeah, Ted Danson's the man.
All right. A Bentley or a handsome cab? I
Well, I
get
gotta
it.
tell you, in all sincerity, well, both of them I would sell.
Okay.
So I guess the Bentley's worth more than the handsome cab.
Okay.
And I don't like when they have horses on the street.
This is a tough one.
Okay.
This is the last one. It's really hard.
Okay.
Jeff Garlin versus Jeff Garlin.
Yeah, I'm fine with both. I'm a little bit heavier in both of them. But yeah, they're fine. That's the thing, you gotta be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
I love that guy.
You do.
He's a good guy. For some women specifically, they really dig that.
Oh, yeah.
Other women, not so much. But that's okay. Everyone's got their opinion.
I love it.
Yeah.
I dig it.
Yeah. So I'm
Handsome
good with both.
and confident
Yeah.
and funny.
Yeah.
That's our show. Thanks to all my guests. And don't forget to grab the summer TV issue of Entertainment Weekly on newsstands now and at EW.com. I'll leave you with a chat I had with Jaimin Hansu about King Arthur, Legend of the Sword. Bye. So you played Bedivere in King Arthur the Legend. How does one prepare to play a knight?
Wow, that's interesting. I have not thought about it like that, but you know, again, Bedivere, the phone call came in from Guy Ritchie, which was quite exciting to, you know, get a phone call from Guy Ritchie.
How did it
Such
go?
a young.
Did he
well,
say, Jaimin, it's
yes,
Guy?
Yeah, it's Guy, and I was thinking about King Arthur and Bedivere. What do you think? I said, wow, that sounds like a great idea.
Your character is the leader of the resistance.
Yes.
And you've said that your character has a global understanding. He understands all that's going on.
Right. The way we were approaching this story was to try to, trace the King Arthur's life from the street to the throne, you know, and by diving a little bit into Bedivere's backstory, we learn how he was an advisor and a trusted confidant to Uther Pendragon.
Now, this King Arthur is edgier, it's grittier, it's more of a quote-unquote rock and roll version. That's what all the articles say about it. How would you describe this version of King Arthur? And what do you make of it?
Well, this version, to me, the resonance is slightly different because I love the fact that you did not see the likes of me in this type of story before.
So let's talk about the giant elephant in the room. Those giant elephants. They're huge. I've read that they're supposed to be larger than a football field, and the snakes are as big as subway trains. What did you make of those giant elephants when you saw them?
But you know, it was quite difficult, you know, while you're filming it because there's no elephant, there's no giant snakes, and so it was quite hard, you know, trying to imagine that elephant. And this is the funny part. We went back and reshoot, you know, that scene, and you know, and each time the level of the elephant just kept going up, you know, and yeah. So then when you see the finished product, you're like, oh, is that what we were looking at? Is that what we were shooting? Yeah.
You know, it's hard for me to believe that Amistad was 20 years ago.
I know.
20 years ago. You haven't aged at all, so you're very lucky.
Thank you.
Give me free. Did you know that one line would change the course of your career?
No, I did not. And I did not know how, you know, at the time, because at the time, in 1996, I was already speaking English, and I was, you know, even though I had a heavy accent at the time. But, you know, again, so you're given a script, it takes, you know, certainly that line to be said. And so how do you say it, knowing that you speak the language, and now, you know, but you're trying to sound like as if you don't speak the language. And so that was my struggle, you know, during that whole day of waiting up to the point where Spielberg decided to shoot that scene. And so I was sitting around the courtroom the whole day, and then I kept thinking, well, this is my, you know, this is a stage for my scene but how is he thinking about approaching this? You know? So I went and asked him questions, because obviously nobody's paying attention to me, so I was kind of sitting around and just waiting for that particular scene. And he said, no, sit down, watch. I'm shooting this, I'm shooting that, and all those scenes and all those shots are your viewpoint, you know. So take it in, take it all in, and then we'll get to that your scene. And so eventually, at the tail end of the day, we got to that scene, and 2 takes.
2 takes?
Yeah, you couldn't do it too many times.
2 takes, and a Golden Globe nomination later.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Yes.
And you've gone on to be nominated for 2 Oscars as well?
That's right.
I think the 3rd time's going to be a charm. I like to tell people that you're the original successful African in Hollywood. There were so few Africans who were making it in Hollywood when you first came up. Right. And now there are a slew of them. I mean, names like Uzo Aduba and Chiwetel Ejiofor and David Oyelowo, they're very common now. Yes. But I mean, the Lupita Nyong'os, the list goes on and on, but there was only one, Djimon Hounsou, and that was, what do you make of this success of this current crop of young African actors?
It's great, it's great. The more you see, you know, it would almost indicate that there's maybe a little more for us to bite on, you know, as far as work is concerned. So, yeah, that's great, and one does not take away from the other at all.
Gladiator, it's one of my favorite films. Who would win in a sword fight between Russell Crowe and Charlie Hunnam? You gotta bet.
Well, to be honest and fairly, looking at the attributes we have here, we have a Roman soldier who's a great war soldier, and you have a king, but who's imbued with magical powers with that sword. I'll take the sword.
You take the sword.
Yes.